it's so sticky. I said, thank you very much. Bent the whole world over and said, thank you very much.
Hey you guys, welcome back to Black Tea. It's your girl Ebony. So I wanted to talk about this situation with Dr. Luke and Doja Cat and why it's important for us to really care about what our artists and faves go through behind the scenes. Now you guys know that ever since the Free Britney movement has come to pass and Britney Spears was lifted from her conservatorship, a lot of fans want the same outcome for people like Kesha and now Doja Cat. I also want to make it clear that the conservatorship is a little bit different than what we're going to see in the Dr. Luke and Doja Cat situation. Initially, the conservatorship was to help Britney Spears because of mental health issues, but it turned into something a lot more sinister. In the case with Dr. Luke and Doja Cat, it was to give a 17-year-old girl a dream, a record deal, but now it's actually turned into Dr. Luke taking credit for Doja's work and getting rewarded for it. Talk about a mess. So let's get into who Dr. Luke really is. For those of you guys who don't know, Dr. Luke, also born as Lucas Sebastian Godewald, was actually a former guitarist for the Saturday Night Live band and a protege of the super producer Max Martin. Now we know Max Martin from super hits like Since You've Been Gone for Kelly Clarkson, I Kissed a Girl for Katy Perry, and Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA. Now, since November of 2011, this is where we saw Dr. Luke go into an agreement with Sony Music, which gives him exclusive writing credits for imprinting, finding new artists, and also producing music for artists on this label. Now, most people know Dr. Luke and his ties to Kesha, and this is actually going to roll into his relationship with Doja Cat. Now, in 2014, this is where we saw Kesha sue Dr. Luke, and she was looking to void all of their contracts. She claimed that he not only SA'd her, but was verbally and also emotionally abusive to her, where she nearly lost her life. Now, Dr. Luke went on a slander campaign against Kesha, and he not only put out false information about her, but also tried to countersue her and claim that she was the reason that her contract was not fair. Dr. Luke also tried to blame Kesha and her mom for only talking about this to the media and trying to get out of the contract because Kesha wanted her own career and wanted to re-record her own music. This was actually not true. And unfortunately, on February 19th, this is where we saw a New York court deny Kesha's injunction to record music. And this leads us into the situation with Doja Cat and Dr. Luke. Now, I want to give a big shout out to Burbank Bleacher on Twitter. They actually have several threads talking about Doja Cat, Dr. Luke, and Kesha, and they do a very good job outlining information. I will leave a link to their profile down below. Now, 1 year before we saw this lawsuit with Kesha and Dr. Luke, this is where we saw Doja Cat, a 17-year-old girl, actually sign a record deal with RCA under Dr. Luke Kimbosabe Records. It's also important to note that Doja Cat actually began learning production in GarageBand in the 11th grade. She actually allegedly didn't have any intentions in actually singing and rapping until she actually needed a job. She had created several beats from scratch on IG, and she actually did it on IG Live on multiple occasions. As time has gone on, Doja Cat has really been under the radar, and to be quite honest, she's been putting out great music for a while now. But most recently, her surge, not only in mainstream pop but also hip-hop, has really pushed her forward to this big A-list star. And this brings us into the album Planet Her and how Dr. Luke is getting all this credit for Planet Her when she's the one that put in all the work. You guys know firsthand, we have seen Doja Cat on live, playing with beats, not only playing Niggas Ain't Ish, but also playing with different sounds, and she's really the driving force behind all of her music. However, Billboard decided to do a whole article on Dr. Luke, talking about how he is one of the top producers and how he is responsible for songs like Kiss Me More. Before the release of Planet Her, a lot of fans were confused with the actual credits, since Dr. Luke was credited for a lot of songs that they felt he was not actually a part of. For example, as you guys see on the screen, you see that Dr. Luke, his name is credited on most of these songs. The reason that this is so confusing is because Doja's sound engineer, Ryan Lewis, actually took to Instagram to celebrate the release of Planet Her, and he revealed that Doja Cat actually produced all of her vocals on the album. This is what he had to say. "This album represents an incalculable amount of blood, sweat, and tears. I have had the distinct pleasure of engineering for Doja Cat for 6 years now, and even though the artist she was back then impressed the ever-loving ish out of me, I am completely gobsmacked and dumbfounded by her level of talent today. She's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen, through and through. She's a meticulous writer. She doesn't do punches when she raps. She does full takes only. She produces all of her own vocals." I want to say this again. Doja Cat produces all of her own vocals from the booth with impeccable precision and intention, even harmony, every massive stack, every backing vocal in a character voice. Those are all her ideas, 100%. It's an honor to work with someone of her caliber, and I hope to get a front row seat to her talents for years to come. A massive congratulations to all of Team Doja, and especially to the El Centro crew who were there from the very beginning. Massive thanks to Yeti Beats for bringing me along on this, so many other magical rides. Please enjoy this incredible album. We had a lot of fun making it. Edit, 5 years. I've been working with her for 5 years. So as you see, this actually contradicts the credits on Planet Her. You have Dr. Luke saying that he produced and has credit for vocals on track 5, 15, and track 8, I think it was. But you have her sound engineer saying that Doja Cat was responsible for all of her vocals. So this would actually contradict anything that Dr. Luke said, and it also makes you wonder, why is he getting credit for Doja Cat's talent and hard work? And I think it has a lot to do with the way the contract is set up. Now, as I stated earlier, there was this whole situation where Dr. Luke had some contribution to the hit song Kiss Me More. However, during the making of video on Genius, which actually had Yeti Beats and Rosette Shahade, if that's correct, break down how the song came about, they actually explained that there was no contribution from Dr. Luke. It was all them and Doja Cat, and SZA obviously had some input.
It was early one morning, I woke up and I just was going through the beats, and this one stuck out to me, and I decided to just try to rework it and open the session. I literally brought it to the studio that night, and Doja heard it and was like, I love it, I got a song about kissing.
So this would also contradict that Doja Cat's song Kiss Me More was a global hit that was created by Dr. Luke. And I find it interesting that big publications like Billboard continue to give this man credit, knowing that he actually has no input for these quote-unquote global hits that he says that he had a part of. There was also an incident with the producer Arkizi where he uploaded a fan-favorited track, Big Ol' B Word, to YouTube, and it did feature Doja Cat. Now, in the comments, he actually put that Dr. Luke was gonna get on his butt, and unfortunately, that actually did happen, and the song was strucken down and taken down because copyright. Now, many people may say, well, why is this such a big issue? Well, because Doja Cat is not getting the credit that she deserves. We know that Dr. Luke is currently in legal battles with several different artists. We also know that he plays very dirty when it comes to dealing with these artists in the court of law. And not to be shady, but let's be clear, his lawyers are actually the same group of people that defended R. Kelly. And if that is not weird, I don't know what is, allegedly. We also know that Dr. Luke is facing several other lawsuits from many different producers who claim that his entire career is built off the backs of other producers because he puts people in these very bad contracts, giving him credit for their work. We saw this same thing with J. Cash and Ammo, where they actually had to file a lawsuit for breach of contract. And we also saw Dr. Luke do something extremely shady to Kesha. You guys remember that Kesha was in the hospital for her eating disorder and could not work on music, and he tried to sue her for breach of contract, knowing that she was trying to get help for herself. So Dr. Luke is known for these type of tactics behind the scenes, and to be quite honest, several articles have also been written corroborating this same sentiment that Dr. Luke takes credit for other people's work and does not pay them for it, allegedly. I also want to bring up the fact that Kelly Clarkson, in her deposition in her case against Dr. Luke, actually gives us a lot of information about this same sentiment. She actually talks about how Dr. Luke has taken so much credit for songs that she has written, and she calls him a compulsive liar. This is what Kelly Clarkson had to say. I was told by my label executive it was really rough meeting, Clive Davis, where first of all he told me I was a shitty writer and that I shouldn't. I should just shut up and listen to the producers. And then he said, you should just take the hits and just sing them, and something to that extent. And I said, well, I'm a writer on these. I wrote Miss Independent. I wrote Hazel Eyes. I wrote Because of You. She said, I wrote all of this. He said I was lying, that Dr. Luke told him that he wrote Hazel Eyes. Kelly Clarkson explained that she was the one who went through the bad relationship and she wrote the song. However, Dr. Luke was going to the label telling them that he had wrote those songs for her. Kelly goes on to say this, it's so hurtful whenever you try so hard, you have been accomplished in a certain area, and then someone just lies about their part in a song. And I said, well, we definitely did collaborate, but I can pull out the lyrics from a notebook where I wrote it down on a piece of paper, the lyrics. I wasn't there when Dr. Luke had the conversation with Clive, but this was not the only instance. So as you see, Kelly Clarkson, another huge star, is talking in her deposition to her lawyers and to the court to let them know that she has actually been ripped off as a songwriter. She has written all of this music, and Dr. Luke is going behind her back to the label executives saying that he's responsible for writing this music and taking credit for her craft. So this is something that we are seeing in this situation with Doja Cat, Planet Her, and this whole situation. And it actually takes us back to Doja Cat and those deleted tweets about her feeling overworked. Do you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, Doja Cat took to Twitter to say this, it's not anybody else's fault but mine. Anyways, I just keep agreeing to ish I don't want to do in the future. It's my own dumb fault. And then I'm too tired to put any effort into this ish because I'm so run down from everything else. I'm just tired and I don't want to do anything. I'm not happy. I'm done saying yes to MFs because I can't even have a week to just chill. I'm not never working. I'm effing tired. Alex is getting old. He's 68 years old and I can't even be there for him. I want to be alone. I don't even care anymore, man. Now this actually is very alarming to me because it makes me feel like Doja Cat is being overworked and she is not getting compensated for that work. On top of that, it also makes me realize that she is doing all of these festivals to recuperate some of the money from her music, because if you guys don't know, her contract is actually set up very weirdly where she is not getting her royalties or her masters.
So I'm pretty sure everybody knows that Doja Cat is signed to Dr. Luke's label, Kemosabe Records, on RCA, but I feel like what people don't realize is her contract probably sucks just as much as Kesha's. I need you to understand, she signed it at 17. The publishing rights and the masters belong to Kemosabe. That's like royalties and masters are where you get long-term music from. So literally at this point, she will have to make probably at least 6 albums, because that's a typical contract for Kemosabe and RCA. And then after that, she will have to buy back either her masters or her publishing rights if she wants to continue making money on it after she moves on for her first 6 albums. I hope girl has a good lawyer.
This entire situation is just so sad, and it makes me very unhappy for Doja Cat because she is such a talented artist. There was also a time back in 2020 where Doja Cat was in a chat room where she said that she would actually have to die to get out of her contract with Dr. Luke. She also made a tweet where she saw fans calling out Dr. Luke for his treatment of her, and she says, "I see you guys fighting for me. Thank you." So this entire situation is just really, really sad. It makes me sad for Doja Cat because she is such a talented artist, and it makes me wonder when Dr. Luke is gonna have his reckoning like R. Kelly and all these other people. He is taking credit for things that he did not do, allegedly, in my opinion, and these other artists are paying him to take credit for their work. I saw so many articles on him talking about how he wrote Say So and how he is writing all of these smash hits, and he's getting all these credits and accolades off the hard work of his artists. And I can't imagine the type of contract that Doja Cat is in. I'm still looking for her actual contract so I can go over how many albums she actually has to complete before she gets out of her relationship and contract with Dr. Luke. But I do think it's probably the industry standard, which is 5 or 6, which makes this entire situation even worse because he will get the publishing, the masters, and the royalties, which again is more money in Dr. Luke's pocket. So let me know what you guys think about this topic down below. How do you feel about Dr. Luke taking credit for Doja Cat's hard work? And what do you think that artists should do before signing these contracts with these labels? And how do you think fans can support Doja Cat without putting money in his pocket? I look forward to reading your comments. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk down below. Bye guys.